You know what I'm saying? Should I start the intro or just do it from here?
No, we don't need no intro.
We don't need no intro. It's a pop up.
It's pop up. When it's pop up, you don't get no intro.
When pop up,
you don't get no intro on a pop up.
You gotta be on Twitter, on YouTube, or whatever to see this. But no, niggas is wild.
Very wild.
Like, I need both men and women to start holding men accountable on social media. Not because niggas just say wild shit. Because yesterday I was in here recording one of our new podcasts, and a gentleman was in here as part of the show.
You trying to glaze them buns?
We're gonna get on that nigga in a minute too. He wasn't trying to glaze the buns, but
protect your buns, ladies. Okay, sorry.
So bring your mic closer. And yes, ladies, please protect your buns.
Protect your buns.
Dudes too.
Protect your buns.
You don't want nobody entering your buns unlawfully.
Like nobody should be taking buns without permission. Jesus. But he was very off the wall with a lot of his thinking. And it brought me to the angry black men trope on internet where he-man, woman hater clubs and the finger pointing in the whole 9 yards. But we do need to start saying, hey, bro, whatever you dealt with, you need to unpack that shit or whatnot. But we also got to stop letting these men say whatever they want to just because of social media. Because my sister you know what, Juan? You could tell the story so much better. You were there.
So Mimi decided to go buy some donuts.
Okay.
Now, when you buy, you like donuts?
I'm on a carb low diet.
I'm not asking you.
Low carb diet, but yeah, donuts are good. Everybody like donuts.
Right, everybody like donuts.
Almost
especially a glazed donut, and when the icing is right, you warm it up. Oh my God, it melts in your mouth.
Okay. You just remind me, I had orange cupcakes.
So, cuz got some bad donuts, like the glaze was hard. She's like, man, these donuts is terrible. And a young man decided to comment and was like, I would like to glaze your buns. I would like to lay you down and spray you down.
So my whole thing is not necessarily just only about being disrespectful. You've never seen this woman in person in life.
And
you've never had a conversation with this woman.
And you offered her your baby.
And you offered to engage in some form of sexual copulation. Yo, and you don't know what's on the other end of this.
Okay, so here's a question. Maybe a lawyer could answer this. But at what point, when is this considered sexual harassment?
The minute you say, can I glaze your bun?
At some point, unwanted internet comments gotta be sexual harassment. It's like,
fourth degree sexual harassment.
You just, now I know, because I'll do this all the time. I jump out the window and I'll say some very, very wild shit. But I don't think I've ever offered a woman that I did not personally know my baby batter. Never.
You got limits.
Never ever.
You got limits.
Just certain things I don't think you should say on the internet.
We appreciate it.
You gotta relax.
The fact that last night while we was recording, Denise said she was talking to a dude, and the dude had to respond, yeah, you better be lucky I decided to change my mind. I was about to send you a dick pic. Why is that an immediate thought process this day and age?
Do y'all feel like maybe it's worked for them in the past?
Everything had to work. I've said this before.
He says this all the time.
In order for a guy to keep doing it, some woman on the other end had to say yes. I don't know anybody in the world who still successfully tries to play basketball after they shot up 100 shots and missed all of them.
Yeah, I low-key probably try to have like a certain aura about myself where men won't approach me a certain way
in that manner.
But
that don't work.
It definitely doesn't always work. But that's why a lot of women try to have like that mean face or very stern face when they go in the store and stuff. But no, some guy was walking behind me. 2 guys called my legs lamb chops or something, making
what
all
the
type of
yo niggas in the pickup lines, bro.
Making all type of
they are so
behind me, but that's not something that's gonna get my attention.
That's not gonna get your attention.
Wait, lamb chop?
He said something, Lord. It was something in regards to it. Maybe it was some meat reference, Lord.
I mean, you kind of meaty, I get it, but that's not how you introduce yourself.
I don't even eat meat, Lord.
That's not how you want
to say, hey, yo, baby, what's up with them lamb chops?
That's not how you want to meet somebody for the very first time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
He's only gonna attract women that like that sort
that
of
want
thing.
them buns glazed.
But think about it. At the end of the
But
day, that's all
So
he
he's
wants.
shooting out his bait until he catches what
That's all he wants.
I hope he catch a rape case, cause nigga, what?
He gonna catch something out here if he gets something with
The
those.
clap.
Exactly. If he gets something with those.
Because any woman who agrees to allow a random stranger who dove in your inbox to eat your butt, that is not a safe butt.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Is that the reference?
Well,
that's not the reference.
Okay.
But that's the thing.
That's what dudes
Y'all know
do.
y'all gotta tell me. You gotta be clear.
Okay.
How out of the loop are you? What's your inbox look like?
Being a very safe,
Her
very
inbox-
respectful.
It's her inbox.
It's very respectful.
She has a very
You
unique
got some.
inbox.
You got some.
Tell me why.
She has a lot of
'Cause
gentlemen
he has
suitors.
access.
You
She has
got
a lot
some.
of gentlemen
You got some
suitors.
hey queens in there.
You got a lot of hey queens, hey beautiful. They come at her with some level of respect. She had one that jumped out the window and she shut him down real quickly. So I don't know if he went back to the trash nigga group chat and said, "Hey, it's not gonna work on her." And I don't know.
They have those?
I don't know. I hope not. It's terrible.
Put me on point.
Dude, I hope there's not a group of guys that come together.
Low key, depending on who the chick is,
The dick doesn't even look good in the photo.
That's crazy.
That's wild to get an unsolicited dick pic and it's not even appealing.
Yeah, niggas be sending ashy dick pics. That's crazy.
Hey man, we've gotten cooter pics that look like a roast beef sandwich from Arby's.
Why are y'all sharing y'all private moments and areas?
Because it ain't private to them. Because it's not private to them.
Oh, I thought you meant like with each other.
Like I'm not sharing. This man will never.
Whatever's in my secret stash is in my secret stash.
Okay.
Your nudes are safe with me. I need that on a shirt.
That actually is a good.
Yeah.
That's a good. I've never sent nudes.
I believe wholeheartedly.
Never sent nudes.
You are in a 3-year relationship with the guy of your dream. He checks all the boxes, the whole 9 yards. He's having a bad day at work.
Lingerie, but not.
Okay.
He can't get the titty pic with a halo.
Now he's been inside that several times throughout the course of these 3 years.
A couple of those.
Not with a halo on.
That is
I gotta have a halo though,
Because you're a woman of God.
Listen.
Yo, if you're a woman of God and you're gonna send me a nude,
who loves God.
I like to see a Bible.
I'm a woman who loves God, who is aligning herself with His will. That is what I am.
Send me the
Don't
picture.
put no title on me, because y'all. All right,
you gotta send me the picture, like, so you gotta be naked, and then like, you know how you sit on the bed with your stomach down and you be reading a book with your feet up?
Yeah.
You gotta be reading the Bible with your butt in the air. See, I'm with that. Let's do that. See,
I mean, me and my husband will absolutely probably do that.
The Bible, nigga.
No, but what book? Like what chapter?
Matthew, read the red.
Thank you. See, she get what I'm saying. The Bible is
75 books, bro.
They call books. They're not called chapters. I know it's confusing as fuck.
Man, I thought it was one book.
No, it's multiple books. 75 books in one book. And then they got the audacity to call them gospels on top of it.
Let's get
out. Instead of saying the good story according to John, it's the gospel. You know, like, it's a wild time, bro.
I love you, shit. I don't want anything that I'm about to say to offend.
It's too late.
It won't.
If you leave,
if it's coming from a good place, it won't.
Like, I'll fuck with people that love God. Like, if that's what
don't you love God?
I mean, he's my guy.
Yeah,
he's cool.
So
but like, I ain't finna go to church every day.
You don't gotta go to church.
He made some choices as black people. Kind of question.
But don't say you mess with people that love God, because you love God too.
But when I say it, it's like I have a different level of how I think about things. Like, it don't be to be rude. It just be like when you take what they tell you and then you apply like logic to it. Sometimes everything doesn't make sense. But I've learned in the world, some things don't have to make sense. It's just what you believe.
Let me ask you something. Can you see energy?
Energy.
Can you see it?
Energy.
Can you see it, Juan? That's a yes or no question, baby boy.
Yeah, I believe you can.
Okay. You can see energy? Like you could physically see it?
Actually, it depends on how high you get. Yeah, you can see a lot of things.
You cannot see energy. It's not tangible. It's not something you can pick up and put in your purse.
Okay, I got. Yes, you can.
It's something you can feel.
No, you can
feel energy. So just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not real.
With a bad look on your face, before you have to tell me that you are going through something,
you can see an expression.
Right. But so that's the energy you gave me.
Let me ask you a question. You've had a child before, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He's 15 years old now.
Yes. and you've been told
Much
on
taller
several
than me.
occasions, whether or not it was during pregnancy or as a beautiful woman who has blossomed into a flower, someone has told you you're glowing.
Aw,
Have they
I've,
not?
I've heard that before. Yes.
What do you think the glowing is?
I think
It's
the
energy
God in me.
radiating off of you. We see it in you.
I
We
think
see
it's the
it
God
on
in
you.
me.
So
It's
we
the
can
God- it's
see
the God
energy.
in-
I
It's the
believe it's the
God
God
in
in
me.
me. It is.
All I'm saying is that when you read the Bible, this shit is the greatest fucking Marvel movie ever. I stand
think
on that,
We have
'cause-
to ask for clarification.
I just
I feel
For
like it
what it
needs
means.
to be rewritten and it needs to be updated.
No,
I
I
just
feel
be
like
like,
no. Listen, guys, I
no-
feel like
nobody
when
else
in
did what you
regards to
did?
the Bible, I feel like that is God's love story to us that we should read. But I also feel like we should
love
be.
in there.
I feel like we should be writing our
Sodomy.
own stories. I feel like we should be writing our own stories. There's a lot of different situations that you're gonna face in life that the Bible might not have the answer to.
This is also
Okay.
why I say
Right,
they need to
'cause-
rewrite the Bible.
because he can walk
No,
on
you
water.
need to
No,
write your own
no, no. Hear
experiences.
me
Don't
out.
rewrite the Bible
No,
now.
hear me
Leave
out.
that alone.
No, hear me out. When I,
mean,
say
that
rewrite,
book
I don't
flawed
mean like
anyway.
go back and do edits because we're trying to make the PC version of it.
It's some
We're
missing
not
stuff
we're
in
not
there.
redoing the Lion King
some
because the
missing
Lion King
stuff.
was good.
Some
But
missing books.
there is some missing books, and
Yes.
that's a whole nother conversation.
Yes.
What I mean, like we need to rewrite the Bible. I mean, like we need to update the stories to fit more of a modern mentality.
Or just write your own story, which will be the modern mentality.
But
If
you wanna
everybody
know-
told their own stories,
But if that's the case, then when do we walk away from still listening to the old stories? See, I can
No.
go out here and write 5 novels based on all these different viewpoints, scriptures, and things that have been taught. God can talk through me that makes me write these 5 books with 75 chapters in each one of them.
I'm listening.
And even though he is speaking directly to me in a manner that is important to now, we're not going to let go of that old one. Matter of fact,
Nor
we'll
should
use
you.
that old one to say that the things I'm saying here are not true because it's an update to this. Like, prime example, me and Juan, we joke about this, but I think it's still also true. The 10 Commandments need to be readjusted. Okay?
Gonna go sleep, y'all.
No,
Go ahead.
here's the thing.
I don't even know all 10, to be honest with you.
That's one point. The 10 Commandments need to be
What is it?
readjusted.
Thou shalt not
Because
kill?
the first 3 are all saying the same thing. I'm God. Just love me, fam. That's all I ask.
That's what.
We don't
Is
need
that
3.
honor thy father?
No, that's later on down the road.
Later on
Okay.
down the road.
Later on down the road. So the first 3. So already right away we went from 10 to 8 by just saying, I'm God, love me, and I'll love you the same. End of story. I don't
Okay.
need to go in depth in
So
regards
let
to that.
me paint a picture for you, right? As a father, you have a child, right? God does want you to love him. You know, God wants us to praise him. We were created to praise, all that good stuff. But look at you as a father having a child, just like God is our father, right? Now, you want your child to get certain things in life, to have a certain type of life, to have good experiences, to have the best things in life, right?
Mhm.
But in order for your child, your little baby, that you're going to love unconditionally, no matter what, in order for them to have the type of life that you want for them to have, their life has to be lined up a certain way. They have to make the proper decisions to get them the things that God wants them to have. Okay. So God can love us all day long, which he does. He loves us all day long. But if we're steady making the wrong decisions and missing the blessings that he wants us to get, then, then he
You just threw
crying.
the whole thing
Yeah,
out the
saying.
window.
You know, I hate when y'all do that.
You just threw the whole thing out the window.
I didn't mean to.
You didn't mean to, but I know you're being shelled.
But I
Right.
don't feel like I don't feel like our news stories also should
Let me ask you a question.
should take away value from
No,
the
I'm
old
not saying
stories
take
or
away
the
value
original
from it.
stories.
How important is Noah's Ark to you in that story?
I'm not here to like verify the validity of any
I
of the
said
stories
to
in
you.
the Bible.
I said to you. I didn't say the importance is in the Bible. How important is Noah's Ark to you?
All of the books of the
No.
Bible.
Don't
stories
give
in
me
the
that
Bible are
blanket.
very-
Don't give me that blanket.
are very
bullshit.
important.
Don't
to
give me that blanket.
They
Christian
are.
bullshit.
All of them are.
What does if you read the story of Noah's Ark, what lesson do you get from that?
guy, he was good at matchmaking. He knew how to put 2 and 2 together.
Listen.
What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, is yes, it's good to learn these stories, and yes, you learn your past, you won't repeat them in the future when you make mistakes, right? But the way the stories, those particular stories, they're not as relevant as today's day anymore.
They're guidelines. They act as a guideline,
they are not treated as
but
guidelines.
It's still good for you to know the history.
But if you update the stories to be more prevalent, to be more current, to be more in line of what we're going through.
Why would you be updating those stories instead of writing existing stories? That is why people write their autobiographies.
Because when you write a new story,
what would be the purpose? Tell me what the purpose of the story is. To guide them through life, right?
What, the Noah's Ark?
No, not that story, Lord. But the new stories, what would be the purpose? To guide them to betterment in life, to make good decisions.
Exactly.
That's the purpose?
Right.
That is the purpose of our trials and tribulations that we face on a daily basis. And that is why it is our responsibility to write our own.
Let's look at it like this.
Story. So people can learn from them. Go ahead.
We watch movies
Get me started.
all the time, right?
Big facts.
Now, what? Space Jam. When the first Space Jam came out, I was a kid.
Right.
My favorite basketball player at the time was in the movie.
Okay.
It's Michael Jordan.
Everybody's favorite basketball player.
Fast forward to 2021. They redid the movie. It is the same story, but it's someone different telling it to you. So you, as the child of now, you can relate to it more, but it's the same story.
There's literally 2 different movies or versions of the Noah's Ark.
So I think that's what Tone, like Tone don't really want to update it. He kind of want a soft
bring a visual.
He want a soft reboot.
Reboot.
Like he wants to tell the same story.
Because the story in that, the lesson in that is just following God.
Right.
And listening to the voice. Because if he didn't follow God, he would have been
Thank you, kind sir, for being. I want a soft reboot. I don't want the story of Noah's Ark to be where we run to when we're telling the story, but let's talk about Hurricane Katrina and how that affected people. That's the story or the representation we need to use, because at that point in time, we had to put our faith in God to make it through it. But at the end of the day, is that not what Noah had to do? He had to put his faith in God about something that
why don't you write a book correlating the two?
If you want to know why I want, but you want to know why
they would deem it as blasphemous.
Boom, there you go. That is the problem, because as long as this old book, is the point of reference that they will always run to, any update you do it to make it more understandable for this generation will deem as wrong and will be attacked. That book will probably be destroyed before it even had a chance to get lessons taught. They made Ariel black and they went to war over that. That's
not doing it will be walking in fear. For 1, 2, I want to make it very well known. I am not a minister. I'm not a pastor. I'm none of those.
You sound like one.
I am not. I am simply a woman that has gone through. I am a woman who loves God. You got to do the research on what that term Christian comes from. You got to do the research.
I said it for a reason.
Okay. I'm a woman who loves God with all my heart, who has been through a lot of things, and who through those situations and circumstances have learned how to listen to God. Okay. I'm not a person that continues to repeat the lessons, but chooses to learn from them. And that's something that we all should get to. However, what you're saying, you not doing something as you have a desire in your heart to do, you're walking in fear and you're limiting yourself. It doesn't matter what everybody else is going to do. You don't really even know what everybody else is going to do until you do it.
See, Tom, we're starting a church.
What?
How you just gonna sit here and tell me all that? But because he said he started the church, so what? You see what you just did?
Hey,
you just proved the whole thing I just said. Because he said, "I'm going to start a church," and you was like, "What?"
This is the church. This is what I believe the church is. The church is whatever you have experienced. You telling your story.
The church of loves
and teaching other people.
We are here again, Tom.
I don't know,
teaching
bro.
Other people how to get out of it.
Who, me?
That's the purpose of it all.
I don't know if you be the
because I think they would rather Juan love them than to be a toxic asshole.
I think you can't teach about love.
I think Juan would rather to be.
I would rather love you than to harm you.
All right, exactly. But since we here and we talking about,
I really hate that this eggplant is still on the screen.
It's not on the screen. It's just there. All right. But
What
since we talked,
Vex Pineapple? I don't know.
That's a viewer from YouTube.
it's a YouTube viewer.
We all over the place.
Hey, Vex Pineapples.
But since we talking about reboots and updates and whatnot, did you see the one about House Party?
I did. I saw the trailer, and I'm not appeased to it.
Why not?
I'm not.
I don't think there's
no,
certain originals you just
yeah,
shouldn't remake.
that I've always
Like
felt
the
that
Bible.
way.
But
No, that motherfucker could be up there.
but here's the thing. Well, first of all,
No.
the concept of House Party is a universal thing, though, like partying at somebody's crib. But I don't know. I think that's a franchise that died, and it's not their fault.
Would you go to a house party today?
Oh hell yeah!
You would.
As
Well,
long as
I would have a good house party.
if it's all adults,
yeah,
that's the best party to go to.
yeah, like a cabin or
Like-
something like
like-
that.
Best party to go to, universally.
that.
Okay. Plus, 9 times out of 10, the house party is
I'll
usually a
have a
bunch of
house
your
party
own,
one day.
a bunch of your actual. Why are you partying on a Monday?
No, I said one day.
Oh,
Oh, you thought you said
the
Monday?
Monday. It's like, I have one on Monday. I'm like, why are you partying on a Monday?
I'll have
Yeah,
one one day.
house party
Invite y'all
died
to.
after
The third one after kid got
No.
married.
it was dead. That when
Actually, two. College
Two.
was when it stopped.
House Party 1, House Party 2. We didn't need no more after that. House Party 3 was dead on arrival.
House Party 3 was it was necessary. 4
That probably was
was
like, hey, y'all
4
signed
was
like
a soft reboot.
we signed a 3-movie deal. Y'all owe us one.
Yeah. I think we only got 4 because Immature was in 3 and they were gonna be the next one to take the reign.
Immature. Ooh.
Or was that 5? No,
No.
3. No, 4 was that one.
Yeah.
Who was 5?
Here's where House Party got tricky.
That fresh show.
4 was not even canon.
Right, like one of them's not canon.
4 is not canon, and then 5 was supposed to be canon because Kid and Play show up at the end of
it.
5.
What was 4?
That was the immature one.
Didn't
With
yeah, you're right.
IMX.
4, yeah, that's right. 4 was supposed to be the extension, like how American Pie
Yes.
did 3 of them, and then there was the other 3 that was based off of like
Some
somebody else.
Mhm.
That's what they were supposed to be doing with 4, but it just no one cared.
We went from the Bible to American.
This is
Pie.
that fresh show.
That's for sure.
It's that fresh show. See, the correlation was we were talking about reboots.
Yeah, you gotta find a
You
correlation.
gotta find the connection.
So
You-
speaking
Continuity.
Yeah.
Keep up.
speaking of TV,
Yeah.
I watched the Barney documentary.
I did too, and I was going to talk to you about that one, and I purposely watched Halloween's End.
I did too.
Okay, because I knew you watched it already, so I want to talk about those two.
Right.
Let's do the
What the
Halloween
heck?
End first. You did what?
It's what the heaven. He said it's what the heaven. But go ahead.
It's not your show.
My apologies.
Yeah.
not
On
your
your
show.
show, we say what the hell.
Oh, okay.
Here we say what the hell, bitch, hoe, slut.
Wow.
What?
Just a little bit.
And you know
Wow.
what? You're gonna keep attracting women with them traits.
Cause I
Change-
used the language.
Yeah.
She's kind of right. Wow. if you
And
call-
I know that's not in you. That's why I'm just,
I'm sorry.
Not in you, but
shining
it's
the
on you.
light
That's
on the
just how
Death
I
Fresh
describe.
show.
That's how I describe things. Like some people love
can we get
bitch ass niggas.
That is a true statement. The last
They're
guy.
bands. They're bands.
What do
I
you
call
think?
them bands.
But what does band stand for?
I'm not gonna say it.
Say
it.
I'm not gonna say
But
it.
I
Men who
love-
need growth.
Do you watch horror movies?
Do you watch some horror
I,
movies?
I stay away from horror movies. I used to
Why?
love them when I was younger.
Why'd you stay away from them?
I don't like.
If you say it's
seeing-
ungodly, bro, I'm gonna
no,
turn your
I'm
chair
not
around.
saying that.
Do you stay away
No.
from like horror flicks, like slasher
Yeah.
movies, like Candyman and Michael Myers and stuff, or do you just stay away from all of it, like the
First of all,
Dahmer series?
Candyman traumatized me as a little girl. That
'Cause
was
you
like
was
the
from Capri
scariest
Green?
movie ever.
You would know. You want to know that is a movie that proves that white women need to mind their goddamn business.
Yo, them niggas was living
I am
happily ever
not-
after in the
No, no.
they was
no, no.
living happily ever after in the
I'm
project.
They was in we was in the project minding our own business. We knew what happened to Candyman, and we knew what not to do
What
to
not
bring
to
dog
do.
forth.
That's
We
facts. Why
always
would
did.
you-
And then this white woman, oh, I heard about this theory where if you say his name 3 times, he's gonna come back. And you know what she did? She went down to Cabrini Greens where a bunch of Negroes was at minding their business and brung dog up.
You know, I think I face enough experiences in life that I don't need to be horrified by a movie. I
don't even find horror movies to be scary.
Horror
and
movies
see,
are
that's
now
probably why you can watch them.
because we've changed it. You got to do like we do. You have to change the narrative of
I
what
like
this
joyful
movie is.
movies. I like comedy.
Joyful was a bad movie.
It
Not the
was.
actual movie, Joy.
That movie. Wasn't that with Queen Latifah and Dolly Parton? That movie was terrible.
They're joyful.
Yeah, I like comedies. I like things that's gonna make me laugh and not gonna have nightmares at night before I go to sleep.
That's because you ain't never watched a horror movie with me.
Okay,
you would definitely laugh because
so,
it's funny.
It's funny. So
I think I'm too old to be scared.
So for those of you who don't know, Halloween's End is the culmination of 44 years of the Halloween series.
The original timeline.
44 years. No matter what, all movies stem from the original, except for the two Rob Zombies. Yeah. But no matter no matter what your choose your own adventure you go with.
That wild. Them sequels is nuts though.
I have never seen a choose your own adventure horror movie before in my life.
You could watch one and then go in like 7 different directions.
Could you imagine Blockbuster? Like, let's say we have Blockbuster right now. Okay, you go in there because it's Halloween. You know, everybody want to watch their favorite Halloween movies. Hocus Pocus.
No, don't watch that.
You are childish.
Don't watch it. Go ahead.
Whatever. You find your horror movie of choice. So you go home. You go, let me see this 1978 horror movie. Let's watch this movie about this autistic man who has a crush on a woman. Okay.
Is that how you break it down?
Is that not what we figured out with Mike? Was he was autistic?
Yeah, Mike definitely.
High functional autistic.
Yes.
But since it was 78, they didn't have a name for it yet. So they just let him be. Because they know ain't
That's truthful though. They didn't know what to call autism.
Autism at the time. And as me having an autistic brother and him having an autistic sister, she's never watched it.
With Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it.
Or do you just not get the correlation of autism?
It may be the
son is, so I definitely get the correlation.
Your son's autistic?
High functioning.
High functional.
Boom. See? It like a lot of people be thinking I'd be crazy, but I'm like, I'm not calling my little sister a serial killer, not by any stretch of the imagination. But watching Halloween,
there's a lot,
and then watching like how she just acts in her daily life. It's like I'll see like I don't know if that's how they wrote it, but
they're the best people in the world,
and they super fucking strong.
They are. Before we get back to it, have you ever watched a TV show called Abbott Elementary?
No.
Watch Abbott Elementary because you want to know why. Gregory, aka
Everybody Hates Chris.
Chris from Everybody Who Hates Chris, who's grown up. He's actually high functional autistic. That's the theory going on right now. So watch it, watch the show, and tell me if you think of The Office.
I love The Office. I've watched.
Then you will love Abbott.
It's
Office. It's The Office in an elementary school.
Corniest person.
I probably am,
but not in a bad way. We still love you.
I appreciate that.
If you corny, you would love the white boy. What's his name?
He is the episode where he was doing the storytelling samurai. Tears.
Watch Abbott Elementary. You would love it. I feel like this is probably going to be your favorite show, hands down.
Send it to me. Send it now. I really want to watch it.
Do you have Hulu?
Do you have Hulu?
I do.
Right.
It's on Hulu. Just go to Hulu and type in Abbott. Watch.
We on season 2.
So just watch
not
season
scary,
1.
Funny.
No, it's definitely
definitely funny.
Okay.
You ever seen the little internet clip of the lady who was like, hasn't. "You got money"?
No. I've heard that phrase before.
Right. You ever see black woman comedy sketch show?
I have seen that.
You remember the first season?
Really funny.
The little short girl.
The COVID.
Yep, because it happened during COVID. Yeah. You remember the first season, the little short one?
I think so.
It's her show. She created the show.
Okay.
She stars in it and she created it. You ever watch Moesha?
Of course.
Moesha's stepmama is one of the older principals.
She dead funny. Okay. Cheryl Riley, hilarious.
Did you see when she got her award, how her daughter acted?
Rightfully so.
That's
how you support your mama, man.
That's how you support your mama. Mama went crazy.
I'm learning a lot today, guys.
Okay.
I'm learning a lot.
So getting back to Halloween.
Love it.
So you at Blockbuster, right? You watched the first one because it's Halloween season. So you coming back and you want to get the next one. And they like, well, what direction you want to go?
You be like, huh?
What do you mean? I just want to watch the second one. No. You got to figure out which direction you want to go. Because the second movie, the actual Halloween 2, is going to take you in this direction or that direction. Or you can skip 20 years, go watch this movie instead. Or, you know what? You can go ahead. How gory do you want it? Because we got these 2 special ones over here. Like,
what?
Because what it was people kept making sequels to it, and some sequels didn't follow the line.
Oh, okay.
So
Right.
the original director, John Carpenter, has his own direction. Then there was the company who was like, hey, Halloween is 20 years old. Let's go ahead and let's make a sequel to this one. And then they made another one to that one.
So what do y'all think of like the Jason, Freddy, how they like intertwine different characters? Like that was funny to me. To me, that wasn't scary.
So because I sit on YouTube and I fall down these rabbit holes of just like random facts that I
Like
be
a
want to
lot
know
of
about
movies.
stuff. So they tried to get that movie off the ground in like the 90s.
Yeah, when it should have gotten off the ground.
Yeah, and they could never get it
Because
right.
the two studios wouldn't agree.
But then I think one of the properties got bought.
Yeah, one property bought it, so they both was under the
But-
same
Y'all
umbrella.
are so knowledgeable about.
I'm telling you,
We-
just sit on YouTube and fall
We
down
are,
rabbit holes.
we are the greatest
Like,
people of useless information.
I
I mean, this
want-
is all film.
I'm
so
ready for a
it's
Jason
relevant.
reboot, but they don't. They in court right now because they're trying to get the rights to Jason. Somebody doesn't own it.
Would y'all make your own movie?
We already plan on it.
What would it be about?
Broken Blunts and Bad Bootleg.
That's the comedy one. But the horror one, so Pete, it's called damn, we had a name for it on one of on
Shout
our
out to
podcast.
Big Mike as well. Big Mike he be making the Milwaukee films,
Okay.
Milwaukee Tales.
So it was based around holiday killers. So family comes together for holidays, right?
Okay.
And
Messing up the holidays, Lord.
and
That's the best time to kill everybody.
yeah, it's the best time. It's the only way you get everybody right. So
No.
there's an auntie that has been single for a while. She's an older auntie.
Okay.
And when they come to the family gatherings and whatnot, everybody brings their plate. It's kind of a potluck kind of a thing, but nobody ever wants to eat her food. But
Okay.
when one time, you know, the new generation, since the younger ones are more verbal and they speak out on stuff and whatnot, they start talking and they start going in on it, not knowing who made it.
Okay.
So while this is going on, she's hearing this information and all this beating down, and she snaps. She has an episode. And while she's doing this, she's literally like killing people throughout the thing. So she starts with,
Over a meal, Lord.
look, fam, there's
She had
a
enough.
lot less. Horror movies have started for a whole lot
Single.
less.
She had enough. Okay.
We just watched 40 years of a storyline that wasn't even supposed to be a storyline.
Oh, with Halloween.
Like, see, fall down rabbit holes of useless information. So, that like when he wrote the original movie, the idea was that this was just an unfortunate night.
Yeah,
Anybody can be
Right.
evil.
Halloween was supposed to be a series of different events that all happened on Halloween.
It just happens on
I think
Halloween
it'll
night.
end
That's
up being
why-
funny.
So that's why when you get to, let's say, Halloween 3, for an example, it has nothing to do with Michael Myers. The first, because back then movies used to be recorded together. So they would do their 1 and 2, they record at the same time. So everything stayed continuity. So if you ever watch Halloween 2, it literally
picks
picked
up
right where there's
right
no
where it ends.
time. It's literally like his body hit the grass on 1, his body's not there on 2, and we're trying to find out where the hell he went. And that's the movie. It's just they didn't want to do 3-hour movies back then. That's what I think it was.
That's
They didn't want to do 3-hour movies back then. So when they
Smart
got
way
to
to do it,
3,
though.
which was really 2, it was supposed to be a whole new story. It was based around witches. And people was like, hey, bring back that mask, dude. And then we got Halloween 4, and then that's when the timeline started.
Yo, like the curse of Michael Myers, like all that random stuff was crazy.
Because they started changing the story.
So do
But-
y'all take women to scary movies on dates so they can like snuggle up with y'all?
Not really,
Is that
because the
the-
one friend I took to a
is that the goal here?
scary movie,
Yeah.
she was into scary movies to the point that she got mad at everybody that was with us at this scary movie because, one, they wasn't smart, because there's horror movie tropes. You watch Scream, you'll know most of them right away. But people wasn't understanding the tropes.
Right.
And then one of our friends, rest in peace to Kiki, she was really fucking up her whole vibe because Kiki was actually scared. This is when we went to see Sinister.
I'm that person that
Sinister was such a bad movie.
And that's what yeah.
I'm that person that yells in a theater.
And
so
that
it's
was one of the
not
things that would
good
irritate.
for me to
Yeah,
go
she would have irritated
and watch
you.
a
Would have
scary
irritated
movie.
her, but that's a normal reaction though, because we know
Yeah.
you don't like scary
I'm
movies.
gonna talk
and
to
if
the
you choose,
screen.
and that's you're
Right?
supposed to. You're a black
It's
person. in
not.
the
I
movie theater.
promise you, I don't mean to.
But I feel like when the movie is good, that's what the fan is supposed to do. Like, even though you it's the
That's my natural
it's
reaction.
the
I can't
suspension
help
of
it.
disbelief. And I feel like when you have that suspension of disbelief, that's what makes your experience on watching something really good. So for you to get into it, to be like, run, even though you know as slow as this nigga's moving, he's gonna catch her
and fall.
And you know she's gonna trip.
So,
dog, and they Nikes be tied up so tight. How did you trip?
So the last 3 Halloween movies
were really good.
They have been created. These are like, they pick up where the second one left off at. So anything that happened before, they don't count.
Shout out to Danny McBride.
Okay. Last 3 all work together.
What's your favorite meal to watch with or to have with like a scary movie? Like,
why'd you go to the food?
I don't know.
Stop trying to change the topic.
Okay.
We're talking horror movies here.
Horror
Stay
movies.
with us. You're
okay.
here.
I'm here. I'm present.
Stay with us.
Because if you worried about the food
I don't like
you eat while
horror
watching
movies.
movies, stay here. Then you could have left.
What would you like me to feed you during this horror movie? Because I
Um,
know what I would like to feed a lot of women. But
I would have a vegan burger for any movie probably. But
Oh.
let's stay on topic. Okay.
Have you had a
Horror
butterfly
movie?
burger yet?
No.
You gotta
You
have
should
butter.
try that.
You should try it. It's fire.
See, that's why I brought it up. So y'all could recommend something to me. Okay, back to the horror movies. That
Next time
I
she
don't
posts
know
where she gonna be at this week, I'm gonna
nothing
tell you.
about.
I'm gonna tag you.
Okay.
Her vegan burger's fire.
Y'all want me to go?
No, you ain't gotta go.
yeah, we want you to go get a vegan burger. But we're not telling
Come
you
on
to
right
leave.
now.
Okay.
I'm not kicking you out.
Okay.
So the storyline's been pretty good. So basically, bro's been in jail because whatever happened at the end of 2, he finally got arrested.
Okay.
So he's been in jail. But white folks got a white folk. So a random white dude who's writing a story about it, because you know we always got crime podcasts is our thing now. Decides to go to the prison where Dog is, brings this mask and gets him all riled up. I don't know where Dog be getting his super strength from, but he comes and goes like a fucking mutant. All right. So now my guy breaks out. Number 2, we don't know who ever taught this man how to drive, but
I've been trying to figure that out since the
he's
first
been
one.
in therapy since he was a kid. So now you a grown man in jail. When have you had time to access a car to learn how to drive? But he can whip a station wagon like none other. Okay. If you need a getaway driver, call my guy. Okay. But he comes back to the city and he's literally just killing. Just killing. There's no rhyme or reason to what he's doing other than the fact that he tried to kill Jamie Lee Curtis's character. Shout out to the survival goat.
You know what they really
44 years of surviving horror movies.
But you know what they never really explained about Jamie Lee and Mike? Now, if you go with the premise that this is just one bad night on Halloween, right?
Right.
1978, worst night of your life.
Right.
Understood. Then they arrest this and they take him to the mental institute. How does she keep finding herself in his crosshairs? Because if this is just supposed to be one bad night, why he keep coming to look for you?
All right.
Or
So
do he just want to go home and you keep coming to his house?
that's what the thing is. You know, this all started because he stood in her spot in the house. She stood in his spot in the house.
Folks just never let it go.
Never. We are talking about an autistic person.
Hey.
When has KK let something go you did wrong to her?
That's facts.
Facts.
Because if I don't do something she asks, though, she be on my ass all
until it's
day.
done, right?
Until it's corrected. You
Until
have
it's
to
correct.
rectify the
You
situation.
have a high functional son, right?
Yeah.
He has to have order. And if something's out of order, it throws him off, right?
I think they're all different, but for the most part, yeah.
That's one of the big key things about autism. If something's out of whack, it has to be put back.
Yeah, because my sister definitely has a routine.
Right.
So she knows that at a certain time I'm going to wake her up. I'm going to get her ready for school. But if I don't put her on that bus, it's over for going to school. It ain't no getting in the car. It's Rapville. Like,
Right.
I'm going back to bed, bro. You fucked
And
up.
that's how my youngest is. She's like that too. Like if you throw off what you told her is going to happen, it's
My
rough.
son is the opposite, but he's 15. I don't know.
Is
you
that
know.
hormones probably throwing him off a little
No,
bit?
he's up and ready.
No, you talking about the
before
wrong thing.
Me?
You talking about the wrong
saying.
thing. You focus on the wrong thing here. But you know, they'll do things like that. Like it's over here, no, it's supposed to be right there. And you'll do stuff like that. Right. So he's in the spot and dog been on her ass ever since. But it's an unfinished job. So his motivation is an unfinished job.
Okay, when you look at it like that, it's like, okay, I tried to kill you, but you got away.
Right. It's
No, fam, you gotta die. Everybody
on
else is
site.
dead.
It's
You
an
gotta die.
unfinished job.
I get it now.
and everybody else just keeps getting in the way. So there's other bodies that are dying because it's an unfinished job. That's why the last one kind of made me mad with Lil Dude. Now, the new one starts off. Spoiler alerts for those who haven't watched it.
Just a cancer and really mad at him, but
it could be.
Keep going.
Yeah,
Don't mean to interrupt.
Could be.
Yo, when he took his mask off in the sewer.
That's what I'm getting. Hold on, wait a minute. We're gonna get there. And that's another thing that made me mad too. So the last one, the one that's supposed to be the end all, the be all. So no matter what, this is supposed to be the end of the Halloween movies. There shouldn't be any more made unless you're gonna follow one of those other 3 timelines. But based on the actual original story, it's done. Okay. There's a gentleman, a young man, 21 years old. He's a babysitter. Now, this is a small town. So think of like Wisconsin Rapid. Okay. Small town.
You been to Wisconsin Rapid?
No, y'all. I'm really like lost low key, but y'all teaching me because I don't watch scary movies like that. But
what's the small? Hold on. You from Chicago? You from Chicago, right?
Facts.
What's a small little suburban area of Chicago that's not Harvey?
Aurora.
Okay, maybe? Boom. Let's run with that. Okay. Naperville.
Oh, so
Naperville.
So Haddonfield, Illinois, don't exist.
I don't know, bruh.
They made that shit up.
Could be.
Aurora, so.
Okay, so let's go Naperville. We know Naperville.
Right by Naperville.
Right, small Naperville area. Right. So of course, when you that small, you kind of close off on your stuff. You know, you don't get to do Jordans right away. Come about 2-3 years later. That's how closed off they are. Okay. All right. So the story sticks with y'all. It sticks with y'all. So little dog gotta get in when he got to fit in. So he needs some money. He does a babysitting job. He goes and babysits for this family. Okay.
Okay.
But little dog was what, 6, 8?
He's a dick.
We're gonna get there. It's a little kid about 6, 8 years old. Remember when your son was 6 and 8 year old, right?
Yes.
Pretty hyperactive, pretty talkative, whole 9 yards, right? Little dog hocked up off sugar because remember it's Halloween now. So little niggas bouncing everywhere.
Right.
Mom's helicopter mom. So he got a strict, can't do this, got to do this, got to eat this, got to be in bed by this time. You know, babysitters want to be cool. It's like, fine, bro, we can stay up. Just make sure you climb in the bed before this time when your folks come in. That's all we ask you to do. You can do whatever the hell you want at that point. Little dog wants to watch a horror movie. He's freaked out, but he's a whole dick about it. Because little kids is dicks. Told dog, like, what grown man babysits? Whole 9 yards, right? Then he goes, when he tries to get little dude to get in bed, he does the usual, I don't want to go to bed, running around shit, right? Locks dog in the closet. Now, the babysitter's locked in the closet. He's trying to get out, kick the door, whole 9 yards. He kicks the door. Little dog is right behind the door, but unfortunately, this house has balconies that literally is like just wide enough for the hallway. And little dog tumbles 3 floors down, hits the hardwood floor, kills a little dude, right? Now, it was 100% an accident, but the mom, because, you know, you just lost her only son, they vilify him.
Yeah.
Okay? So the whole time, dog is treated like you're a killer, you're a killer, you're a killer. So little dog gets picked on by the high school kids because of this, right? There's always that one high school bully. They tangle, they tussle. Bully tries to kill him, beat him up, a lot of different things. So bro is sick of this shit. He works at the junkyard. When I tell you he tricked them to come into the junkyard and fucked them all up. And I hate that black girl because she got away.
You are quite a storyteller, sir. Quite the
She got away, but she came back. She deserved what she got.
When you watch the movie, like, it's so many layers to just like the story they telling. Like, so they villainized him for accidentally killing the little boy. Right. Although, if you ask me, little nigga was a dick. He deserved it.
If he would have did what he was supposed to, it wouldn't have happened.
Right, it wouldn't have happened.
That's literally what it was.
But then it's like, so the bullies are bullying him for what he did. But I'm like, yo, y'all ain't no better than he is, really.
Exactly.
Now, it was really only one. Because even during the bullying process, he realized that the bully was being bullied by his own dad. So his dad was just belittling him, right? So he was basically taking it out on dog because, like, everybody knew that he wasn't gonna fight nobody back.
The only person that didn't deserve it out of all four of them was the chick who got squashed with the gate. I felt like because when he threw him off, did we say spoiler alert? Because we talking about that. Because when he threw him over the bridge, she was like, "Yo, you ain't had to do all that."
She didn't deserve it because she actually tried to break it up before they even got to that part.
Right.
Because when he threw him on the car, she tried to stop them.
Right.
But of course, my guy pulled out the pocket knife and we about to go to war. And then dog threw him off the ledge, and she actually wanted to go check on him, but they decided to dart, which is another reason why I hated the black girl, because she was just being a follower the whole time.
Are you eating sunflower seed?
No.
Oh, cupcakes.
It's only an orange cupcake.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, she got what she deserved now.
No one deserves that.
Yes.
What are we talking about?
I'm
gonna let y'all leave y'all to y'all movies. I don't know what y'all talking about, but I will say you painted a very visual of the movie. So even though I didn't see the movie, I feel like
at least the premise to get it started. But if you don't want to hear no more, I strongly suggest
I want. Oh okay. Lord!
I said if you don't want to hear no more,
I do want to hear it now. You just made me want to hear it.
Okay.
Yo.
So the thing about it is at the first two of this new trilogy series, Mike was really on business.
It's getting serious.
Okay. Mike was really on business. When I'm talking like he was cleaning house. The second one, hands down, best one. Because Fan was wrecking shop. Even when he got jumped, still wrecking shop.
And again, the movies, like there are layers in the movie. So like the first one is like, I watched a TikTok about it. And she like, and it made sense though, because it's like Jamie Lee did all of that shit in the first one to protect herself. You see how she lived far away from it, and she was barricaded on the property, and she had all of these booby traps just in case.
Right.
So it was like you're fearful.
Right.
And then the second one was more like, like it was just telling this story across these movies on like, well, how now it's time to fight back.
Well, if you pay attention, so the first one was, war is coming, so let's get our defenses together, because her house laid out, nobody should survive the way she had it.
She was ready to pull Mike on his ass.
She did, if you pay attention, because that's how he ended up in the basement. Then she set the house on fire. But this is when I say dog shit activate like a mutant power, which is why the sewer scene pissed me off. Okay,
turtle, dog.
That's why the sewer scene pissed me off. So house is on fire, whole 9 yards, and bro just standing there in the house burning down. Now the great thing about how John Carpenter writes things is everything picks up exactly where it was. So the second movie started while the house is on fire. The fire department comes in and they do their job. They don't know there's a guy down here who should die. Okay. They just see a house is on fire. They see a body. He snatches dog down. Mike comes out and just cleans the house. Like at that point in time, we knew this movie on business.
How did he? If it's 25 of us,
remember they turned the hose on him. And if black people know anything about fire hoses, them things got pressure, baby. And he still kept walking through it. What can you do at that point?
Me, I'm leaving.
At big facts.
Like, I'm out. If I see him kill 3 of y'all, and I'm not.
No, you remember one dude tried to leave and Mike chucked the axe at him and caught him in the head.
Help the homies?
Nah.
The homies.
I've seen what he did to 4 of y'all. I don't want to be number 5.
Right. So that whole firehouse number 127 is done.
Yeah,
okay.
They gotta close that building.
They need to go ahead and do some rehires at this point. But you got all that during the second one where Mike is just out here just. The second movie gave us what we wanted as slasher films.
Yes.
That's literally what it was.
You know what's the worst horror movie ever?
What's the worst horror movie ever?
Power of Christ.
What the
do you mean the power of the passion of Christ?
Passion of Christ. My apologies.
It's a horror movie?
It's a horrible thing to watch, bro.
It's a horrible thing to watch. It's a love story at the end of the day.
I ain't a fan of anything that Mel Gibson does, so I wouldn't go watch that shit no way.
Yeah.
That was one of those movies.
I have a lot of different opinions about the movie, but yeah.
I mean, it was.
Can we get a reboot?
You don't need to reboot.
Can he be black?
He should be. He was dirty enough that you thought he was.
Right. Right.
Jesus was dirty.
Fam, they had my guy out here filthy.
He was carrying his cross.
He was filthy before the cross. They for that one day.
I could see y'all writing films though.
That one day my guy had the worst one day ever.
See, when you apply logic to that situation, they'd have killed me ASAP. Because as soon as you be like, all right, bro, this big ass piece of wood, fuck y'all, fam. Whatever y'all gonna do, we gonna do that shit now. Cause ain't no way I'm finna carry this shit to wherever you want.
A lot of
that,
people
dog.
can't
Y'all
walk
know.
in those shoes. That's why he is who he is. Because
Contrary
who
to
would do
popular
that? I'm not gonna do that
Also,
for
for
y'all.
those
I
who
love
don't
y'all.
read the Bible, he didn't carry that cross the whole
not doing
time. Though.
that.
Somebody helped him out.
Yeah, somebody. Did help.
Right.
So-
I'm glad, because if you'd be like, all right, bro, so this is the plan. Just
And I
imagine.
I only watched that movie once. I could not watch it again.
Just imagine
Years
them
ago.
like-
I own it. I own it.
And the fact that
It's
they call
Blu-ray,
it like
too.
Good
I couldn't watch it
Friday,
again.
like really fucks me up.
You know what? Here's the mistake that a lot of people make. That day that we call Easter is not really his. It's borrowed. Because
Speak on it.
Easter is actually supposed to be the celebration of the spring equinox, the resetting of the earth at the time.
Oh, well, he reset. He walked out the cave.
No, yeah, he
after 3
reset
days.
it all right.
Reset
He reset himself. But they went on ahead because, Christians want to convert you to Christianity. Anything that was not Christian was considered paganism. So they would always deem certain holidays or certain beliefs as wrong. So if I want you to join my basketball team, I got to give you something that you're familiar with and something that would appease you, right?
Right.
So what they did was they took certain holidays and they rebooted them to match that of Christianity.
That's the name of this pop-up, the reboot.
That's why certain holidays.
Oh, okay.
That's why certain holidays they'll tell you these stories over here in a Christian
This is why we podcast.
in a Christian terminology, but then
Teach
you'll
your
see
girl,
some
teach your
random.
girl.
Like for an example, Christmas has a random ass tree for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
Part of the pagan holiday. Easter has bunnies and fucking eggs for no reason, because that's really more about the spring equinox and
Look
Easter
at you knowing stuff.
more than anything.
Tony's chock full of like
Yes.
it's a good portion of like useless nonsense.
Yeah.
And he's got a
Well,
good
why
portion
is
of
it?
like some real some facts.
You
And he blends
be
it
a
all
good
together.
Trivia partner.
No, I'm
But
a
again,
horrible trivia.
If I wake
Because
up,
I'll know it, but I won't know it in that moment.
just imagine
might.
them like detailing your Friday, like they be like, all right, bro. So 7:00 in the morning, you might get like some bread and some water.
Well, think about it. Good Friday wasn't the bad day, though.
At about 12:15, we just gonna whoop your ass. Just take it. I don't like. I'm just laying out the itinerary, bro. Like 12:15, ass whooping. 3:30, they got that big ass cross that you see out back. And then we'll probably get like 3 of the other
But he
homies to help
knew
you.
what he
carry
had
it.
to do. So he was in a different
Hey,
situation. And he
Yo,
he
you
doing
can
what
know-
nobody else
I'm gonna
would
tell
do.
you what I tell.
You
Tom
can know
all the
that you
time.
go. No. Here's the best way. You can know that you had the pod today at 5 p.m.
and still not be
You
ready
could
for it.
not know what was going to happen during that pod.
This is clearly true.
God didn't even tell him himself. He sent his angel, hey, go
I
tell
didn't know
my
I was
son.
gonna be on the DFS show.
Like,
Hey,
son, my son, I'm coming home.
y'all.
Like,
It's
hey,
just-
Hey, son, you coming home on
that's a
Sunday?
fucked up day.
All right,
I
cool,
had.
Dad.
Just- I woke up and then I got hung up.
Well,
Like,
no, he knew what his purpose was gonna be, and
so he knew waking up
No.
that at about 3:30 in the afternoon, this big ass wooden stake, I'm gonna be up here.
not necessarily
for a
I'm not
while.
gonna say that, but
He didn't even die because he was up there. He died when he got poked in the ribs.
he died in faith. Is what he died. He died
Oh my
in
God,
faith.
you people.
Who is the you people?
Y'all
listen.
y'all
Don't have me
believers.
get on up and now.
You believer. Y'all believers.
Yeah, that's why
He
I
got
like
poked
that
in the
word. I
ribs.
like that
Yeah.
title,
Because
believer.
when they thought, because dog passed out and they thought he was dead,
Believer.
so what they do to test you is they'll poke you to, speed up the process.
Ain't that a bitch? Like, just imagine passing out to fake your death and it's like, for good measure. You like,
Yeah.
fuck, I'm out of here for real now.
It's like the proverbial double
Can I
tap.
ask you something?
He gave me,
I mean, I know we're talking about the film.
he
but
gave
can
me
I
his
ask you
he did
something?
kick.
Basically, the proverbial double
Now,
tap.
what if God asked you to follow the exact same task that Jesus had to follow in order to save your entire family, to save the entire world, to save the entire nation?
What?
Could you? I'm just asking. You
I'm
got
not-
me on the show now.
I'm not mature enough. I'm not strong enough.
He
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
ask
be
you-
able to do
he
it either.
he
So
wouldn't
that's
ask
why
you
I
that.
honor him in such a high way, because
ask you
who
that.
would actually be able to do that for us?
But-
But somebody was able to fast
Even-
for 40 days and was able to do this for us.
even
so
though
I honor
I am not a religious
Jesus.
person.
or Yeshua.
There's
whatever you
certain
wanna
things
call
that
him.
people say, like certain quotes that they use about God. I get, like when they say he wouldn't put, what is it? He wouldn't put more on you than you can bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel feel that because the shit that we read that he did, I'm like, no way.
We put on ourselves.
I'm out. I wasn't carrying that cross. I don't even want to help you carry that motherfucker.
I wouldn't have been able to do it either.
Like, y'all ain't got no flatbed. Y'all ain't got no tow truck.
Here's my thing. I wouldn't argue the cross part. That's because if you pay attention, he only had to carry it for a minute. Somebody else copped that for him.
Technically, we all have to carry our cross today, but keep going.
Somebody else copped that for us.
That's not my cross to bear.
Boom. Okay. It's not my issue.
Right.
And that's another thing about Christianity. We need to go ahead and talk about the fact that we keep using these crosses to symbolize everything.
And if I'm not I don't agree with
if
that
I'm mistaken,
either,
if number three say don't put no other idols in front of me, you're not worse than dog, you worse than this teeth. I'm just saying, whole nother story. Don't want to talk about that.
Representation. But go ahead.
That's a whole nother conversation. But you know what? The whipping is on the back. I might have been able to bear that too, because after about the third one, you don't feel nothing anymore. You're not feeling nothing anymore.
How do you know that? Do you know that?
Have you ever had a black mama that whooped you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I felt it.
I've had my mom discipline was physical.
Probably got it rougher.
My mom discipline was physical, so I speak from experience that after about the third or fourth time, you go to another spot. I'm here. The body is in shock at that point. So after a few of those, I might be mentally checked out. So it's cool. You just beating on flesh. Right. Boom. Now the part that would got me, the part that would have had me like, look, fam, fuck you. The hands. Okay. Everybody else is tied up here. Why you gotta put fucking nails in my hand? You ain't got no rope, bro. We can go make some rope real quick.
Do you think it was in his hands, or do you think it was?
Either way, it was in a place that you not gonna do that to me.
But
if you can't tie me up, dog, let's just come back and do this again on Wednesday.
All these donkeys and y'all ain't got no straw. Y'all ain't got straw. Y'all ain't got no thread. Like
nothing.
Y'all didn't have. How y'all
was? It was pure evil doing that to him. So
but that's what I'm saying. Like at that point in time, you already beat me, so I got mad infections on my back at this moment. Okay, you go ahead and you put a crown of nails on my head. You motherfuckers is bored if you had time to make this. That's not something you could just twist it. It's not making a little keychain thing. You literally have to put some work in to make a crown of nails, my nigga. Think about that. So even if it wasn't for me, you plant this for somebody else.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying?
Just
because at the time someone put it on his head, that means that you had this for somebody already. I just happened to be here and got this. Okay? Mm-hmm. So now I got this crown of nails on my head.
Since we are already down this rabbit hole.
Like my nigga went
we're welcome to
and then we have the audacity to say this man.
I was just saying that was the scariest movie.
What did he do to really deserve this?
He was black.
This is like a random unfortunate.
He went against the grain. That's what he did.
Did he wake up on like a Friday afternoon? That was like
in so many words,
motherfucker just that one.
But I believe that
you know what it was?
God has an ordained purpose for all of our lives.
He went up against big pharmaceutical.
And
he went up against big pharma.
Jesus was woke.
Yep, but at the end of the day, he was.
He went against.
To sum it up in a nutshell, if you really want to tell his story in a modern way, my guy was woke, and niggas wasn't hearing that.
But he never broke the law. He didn't go against.
You didn't do nothing wrong.
Literally, could have.
Hey, you woke niggas gotta relax.
You gotta go. And ever since then, they've been killing woke niggas.
See that, and that's how you correlate it with current stories. There you go. Boom.
Who taught you callback?
You just did. I didn't know that's what that was. But Martin Luther King, you know what I'm saying? All of that.
You've been paying attention to me when I pod.
I have. I'm
starting to learn callback.
I'm learning.
Because I call back on this nigga all the time.
Yeah, but the fact that like when Don took his mask and he sounded up like the Undertaker, I was like, here we go.
It wasn't that, bro.
Here we go.
The problem wasn't that. The problem was if you go back and you actually look at that fight, and you look at the Michael Myers that have been in these other 12 movies, Little Dog should not have won that fight.
Mike was tired, bro.
It doesn't matter. Bro, he had a whole knife in his hand and he had no problem ripping his hand up to grab Jamie Lee Curtis's throat. Little Dog should not have won that fight.
I felt like Mike didn't want to hurt him.
Mike got rock bottomed.
Mike didn't want to hurt him. Mike, like, look, like the part when like Mike finally appears
when he busts through the wall
and he grabs him through the wall. And you like the little thing they did where Mike saw whatever Mike saw in his eyes, he saw himself.
I think he put the evil in him.
So Mike was like,
because Little Dog was cool until he saw Mike.
Right, like you.
Then he come outside and he's stabbing up bums.
Like you, me, bro. I can't have that on me. You, me.
But that don't mean you allowed his ass whooping. Dads whose sons test them don't let their sons win.
Man, Mike ain't had the strength, bro. He been in it Mike ain't 8 in 4 years.
He 8, bro, because he's out there with them bums getting. The bums knew he was in there, so that means my nigga then came out a few times, probably without the mask on. Because let's be honest,
he could be himself.
Nobody knew what he looked like.
He could be himself.
He could be himself with the bums.
You know what's crazy? 40 years. And they really never and they've taken dog masks off several times. We never get a good camera angle of what.
It wasn't until the last movie when Lori's daughter ripped the mask off before he fucked her up that we even realized that my nigga didn't have no hair no more.
Oh yeah, he definitely got a sunroof.
Right. We didn't know that. He must have got it cut because at first he had the tail what's his name on Grand Theft Auto.
Who gave Mike a haircut?
I don't know, my guy.
Them bums?
Must be.
And no matter what movie it is, when they always find Mike in some obscure place, he's always hanging out with a homeless nigga.
Because nobody goes down there looking for him.
Who
goes looking for bums?
Mike be in the most obscure, homeless riddle place. And the bums survive. Like, he never kills them. He just...
Because the bums they don't see nothing. They don't say nothing.
They be taking care of Mike. They be making sure Mike good.
They understand Mike is the epitome of the homeless people and the oppression that they have. So they created Mike.
Mike killing for them?
Mike is killing in the names of the homeless.
I fucks with it.
I can roll with that. Now watching the movie is going to be so different.
Now, what I will say is
the piece of threats from him.
The final fight scene was very lackluster. I felt like
for it to be 44 years. You know what? No, I take that back. It was for what it was because Jamie Lee Curtis was old. Mike is old. What more you gonna get, bro? They was in the kitchen with an island.
I'm just saying
you ain't got that much space
for 44 years of built up smoke. She should have whooped Mike's ass way more than what she did.
She didn't have smoke anymore, bro. At this point in time, dog, she just wanted to make sure that her granddaughter was safe at this point.
Mike been trying to kill you for 44. Mike should have had more smoke for all right, you bad enough to lock yourself in a house with me? I'm on your ass now. Mike should have beat the shit out of Laurie Strode.
He was whooping her ass.
He should have did more.
But he was at a disadvantage because why? He was in her environment. She knew where the knives was.
Yo,
she knew how the kitchen moved.
When
she knew how to turn the stove to 350 degrees.
Woman.
When she stabbed him through the hand and she tried to stick him on the island, when folks was like, "Oh, ripped his hand off."
No. this is how you know. As much as you say it lackluster, let's pay attention. She stabbed him in the hand that got him stuck on the island to begin with. What's the second thing she did?
Damn, what did she do? I was high when I was watching.
She knocked that big ass fridge on his leg.
That's a stainless steel fridge.
Big ass fridge. Too.
Yo, and he got bad knees.
That leg was broke. So she didn't have to do much more. But the fact that other arm was still arming, that's when she had to wrestle it down, and then she stabbed that one.
But when she finally defeated him, this is a good life lesson, guys. That's why you got me here. When she stood her ground and she fought him head on.
She was standing her ground since the first one.
But she was running.
No. The first one, she had a whole house built for that nigga. The fire department let him out.
Oh, okay.
But I did like the end.
Good life lesson.
I did like the end. When everybody was like, well, we got to take him to court. And they was like, no.
Yo, black folks with the hat got out the car was
Hollywood like, nope.
Not him.
Nope.
We taking him right here.
Taking him right here. And everybody, dog, when I tell you there was a funeral procession of people ready to see this nigga dead, they went straight to the graveyard and threw him into the wood chipper.
Wow.
Yeah, they got rid of him.
Because if you've learned anything about horror movies, if you don't see a body, he ain't dead.
Hey, she hit all the major arteries too. She caught both wrists and slit his throat. Like he bled out.
Yeah, she slit his wrist. She slit his throat. That first thing after she got a pin down, she slit his throat. Then when he did the strong arm thing to choke her out, and the granddaughter came home because she realized something. Then they cut the wrist. I'm like, oh, you making sure he dead? And then it was like, nope, we're not gonna leave a body. Wrap up right in the wood chipper. She threw him in the wood chipper.
Yeah, it was justification. Like,
It was all justified.
But I do feel like the way it ended,
They ended it.
The way it ended, and then like the way the story is actually being like was told of anybody could be evil. They left a good like. If we come back and revisit anybody being a killer in 5 years, it could work.
See, and that true, but I think what killed that concept for good was when Mike went back and killed him again, the boy. Because he was already on the ground. He was ready to go. If you would have just left the body there and then we came back after all that happened, his body's not there, then it could always be a door open. But because like Mike went and re-killed dog, like I'm talking like twisted his neck around to the point where his head could see his ass, he's not coming back. They just really said this franchise is done unless Rob Zombie does a third.
Please
no. This is done. But I liked it. Now, what was sad was the Barney movie.
Yeah,
what?
So Barney had a documentary.
Like the purple
dinosaur.
So did you grow up watching Barney?
Definitely did.
So
that's why I'm like, what?
Like, did you love Barney growing up?
I loved Barney growing
up. Is he ingrained in your wisdom?
Okay. Now this is why I watched it, because I'm like,
watch the marathon
as a child or like as a kid, like Barney is this big purple personification of positivity.
My favorite color as well.
Now, granted, when you get older, you start to realize like certain things. It's just, it
was a little weird looking back at it though.
Certain things are cornball.
Okay.
But like the level of hatred that people had for Barney is ridiculous. And I say it because when you look at how most people want the world, you want the world to preach positivity.
Right.
You want the world to preach inclusiveness.
Right.
And racism is bad and all that. And I feel like watching Barney as an adult, that's all it really ever was.
Positivity.
It's positive, it's inclusive, and guaranteed.
But so was Jesus.
You are him. Why do you keep bringing up God right now?
That's my foundation. That's my foundation. But I'm saying as far as like evil and good.
Yes. And it was crazy. I'm like, Barney is positive. I don't know too many people who don't like the color purple and green. It looks really good together, especially if you like the Joker. It was like the level of like niggas had an I Hate Barney fan club.
I believe it.
And it all stemmed from this lady who had a hyperactive son.
What was her reason?
She had a hyperactive son, and she wanted to find something that would grasp his attention.
At the same time, there wasn't television on TV outside of Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers.
Right.
But people have to remember, Mr. Rogers wasn't reachable to everywhere.
Right.
So as he got past the young child phase, she needed something to still grasp his attention.
So why they start hating them? She rented a video, and the video was like they sang songs,
right.
But it was stuffed animals and they came to life, and she saw that kept his attention.
Okay.
So she was like, and I think she had like a background in teaching.
Okay.
So she was like, how can I do this and make it educational?
Right.
So then she came up with the concept of it was the same thing, but we're gonna add educational elements to it.
Okay.
Then like Barney came about, she was like, well, what do little kids like? And she took her son to like some kind of exhibit, and he gravitated toward dinosaurs.
Wow.
So she was like, well, we'll make it a dinosaur.
Okay.
Now the original sketch of Barney, like they just wanted to make like a T-Rex, but cool.
Right.
But then she was like,
kids love dinosaurs.
It's got to be kid friendly. So then that's when they came up with the whole plush stuff part.
Okay.
So like, I mean, now what I found weird about it is like, first of all, I didn't know that one of the dudes that they had play Barney was a black guy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
When you kept making a story about Barney was touching people, that's the story that got misconstrued about the black guy.
Right. Because now he is have you ever heard of tantric?
No.
So I guess it's some chanting type shit. I don't know. It's like vibration and feeling energy type shit.
Okay.
And he does that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's energy sex. So I can understand how in hindsight that's creepy. Or it's a little weird that like you were this children's puppet for so long, but in your free time you like, yo, I'm a sex therapist type shit. Like, I don't know if this aligns with everybody's thought process. But the allegations of like Barney was a child molester, he had dope in his tail.
Wow.
That shit was nuts.
Dope in the tail, not dope in the tail.
But what really will blow your mind when you watch it is that this whole positive atmosphere you created for your kid, he grew up and started shooting people.
Okay, hold on.
Skip
it.
That blew my mind.
Skip it. So the first part of the documentary is about the whole Barney concept itself and how as the world itself started to change, like how it came about, like how it was created, how it grew to the mega, multi-billion-dollar corporation thing it was.
Barney was a billion-dollar industry.
A billion-dollar industry that she really just made something to keep her kid entertained. But the second part of it started diving more into the negative effects of it, as adults, as we get older, flaws exist. We started looking for the world from a flawed perspective, but because Barney was always happy and positive, there was no flaws about him.
Right.
For something bad.
They was looking for something bad and flawed about it, but it was not there. So that made it unrealistic, and people naturally, because we're cynical beings, gravitated towards hating it, which is why you got the He-Man Barney hating clubs and stuff like that. But the second thing was the effects that it had on the people involved in it.
It sounds like they started to intertwine the character Barney with the men who are flawed.
No. This is the mentality of society started doing that.
Oh, okay.
Now, one of the biggest things was with the people who worked on the staff. So as the kids grew up, of course, you're a recognizable face. Everybody's watched Barney, so your face has been on these tapes, on these live shows, these events, the whole 9 yards. But as you start to become a teenager, peer pressure plays a factor.
Right.
So these kids no longer want to be associated with this happy, positive thing because everybody around you hates this now. It's childish, it's kiddie, it's terrible. And you're associated with it by design. So you start gravitating towards and start doing the exact opposite of everything.
This is too philosophical.
Yeah.
Motherfucking Barney.
Right. So you start gravitating. There's a thing up. So because of this, a lot of the kids were being affected. So you got kids turning to drugs, violence. One kid was like, yeah, I was out here in them streets after that. I had to start selling drugs to get my credit back. So he's out here on the block when he's still getting billions of dollars from being a character on Barney.
Yo, using your Barney residual checks to go re-up.
Right.
Is crazy.
It's crazy. And of course, like the black guy who played Barney, the whole, once that got about the tantric sex situation, it was like, bro, you just out here just fucking and sucking. And they, even when they interviewed Doug, it was like, are you having sex with these women? What I do with my free time is my business. Like,
that's a solid answer.
Basically what it was. But the saddest part about the whole story was the woman who created Barney, number one, she was originally a house mother who had free time. Her husband, who had this other big major $1 million company, he was the provider. So as her company grew with Barney, the role started to shift, where he no longer was part of corporate America, and he started becoming a stay-at-home dad, and that was fucking with his mental to the point he committed suicide.
Wow,
okay?
Guys.
Like later on the road, he committed suicide. Wow, now her son, the son who she originally created this for, Barney, because of the fact that mom was never home, he looked at Barney as not as a company, but a brother that was getting more attention from the mom.
Wait, so are they doing a horror movie about Barney now?
No, this is all documentary.
I wouldn't mind it though, because if Winnie the Pooh and the Grinch can get horror movies, they. Barney can eat children.
we eventually getting there.
Isn't that the Hocus Pocus movie that's out right now?
No, what? No, what? No,
that's what it is.
No, it's not.
They're eating children.
No, it's not. What are you talking about?
Hocus Pocus.
Stay off them drugs.
Ain't nobody got time. I'm drug free, honey bunny.
But at the end of the day, little dog had mental issues, and he actually ended up doing 5 to 10.
But that is what the Hocus Pocus.
Because he actually shot his neighbor because he came on his property.
Look it up.
Yeah, that's wild.
Because he was paranoid. Because with you being the son of this, you got paparazzi at you all the time. So little dog is extra paranoid even as an adult. So when his neighbor came on across because they accidentally put the mail in the wrong box, dog spazzed out. He went over to his property. He was like, bro, stop coming on my property. It's like, bro, you own my property right now. And we just popped him.
Wow.
So as
the
much as she created
more
stuff,
we get together.
so
the
as much as
more we
something
get
was
together,
created out of love,
the happier
it was hated.
we'll be. Cause
Yeah.
your friends.
But with that
are
being
my
said, we
friends,
come to the end
my
of this
friends are
pop-up.
Your friends.
They should have
More we
separated
get
the
together,
man
the
that played it
happier
from
we'll
that
the
was not a
character.
problem. That was not as big of an issue.
And
Because in courts of public opinion, all we have to do is make up a story about something, and it got legs.
That's
So
true.
just the whole fact that he was into tantric sex, which had nothing to do with it, did not affect his job. He fucking loved his job. He was the best at it, that they said. But the simple fact that someone says, "Hey, he's out here doing this wild, crazy shit," because we can't prove nothing wrong with him, it had legs. At the end of the day, dog got a bad rap.
Crucified. Yep.
Barney has some slaps.
But either way it goes, thank you for tuning into this pop-up episode.
Thanks for
And
having me, guys.
now we getting ready to do some house shit.
So
Not all of us.
Make sure you check out. You check it out on all streaming platforms. That's Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio. The actual episode will be dropped on Thursday. If you caught this, hey, you're a
I
dope
learned
person.
a lot from y'all.
Shout out to Lachelle for being here. Now she's all happy. But with that being said, people, we are out of here. Peace.
Bye.
Little bit.